So this is the first episode of Neha Di. Feels a little funny to call myself Neha Di, but that's fine. This is one of the my most favorite human beings on earth, Surbhi. She's a great friend of mine. We'll come back to that later. But first, nobody's a Poonam Pandey fan here. Well, when I say nobody's a Poonam Pandey fan here, we mean me and her. But that's not just the one common thing between us.
It begins like we've known each other for almost 8.5 years now.
Yeah.
And the way we met each other was when at the prayer meet for my husband. He gave his life on the line of duty. He was in the army, and that's where we met. It was a very brief, maybe a 10-second conversation that you and I had.
Yeah.
But that's something that stuck on with me. And that's what Neha and I have always been about, mindful conversations, and that's what we are bringing to you now.
So, to give you more of a context, I am Neha. I am a doctor by profession. I'm also an author. She's a lawyer, also a single parent to a wonderful 8-year-old boy. Going back to Poonam Pandey, what did Poonam Pandey do here? I think the whole I am dead. I don't know how much it worked. I'm pretty sure it worked for people to get the vaccine, but I really feel as a doctor and as a woman that when the whole discussion, the scope of discussion should have been about vaccination, the availability of the vaccination, and the preventable nature of the disease in general. We made it about the fear of death of a 32-year-old woman because of that disease, right?
Aren't we already like bombarded with things as a woman or anybody, like with fear?
Yeah.
And here was another thing that was added on to us, that if you don't do this, then this is what's going to happen to you.
You will die.
You will die.
So I think first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about the vaccination and the availability, right? The fact of the matter is that cervical cancer is in a large part caused by human papilloma virus, majority of the times, right? So the vaccination is available against the human papilloma virus. As a matter of fact, it is available for girls from the year, from 9 years of age actually. So 9 to 14 years initially, there is a 2-dose regime that is available. But why are we not talking about that? Why do you think that despite something that has a vaccination available for it for starting from 9 years of age, we are actually discussing about a 32-year-old woman trying to tell you that she has died because she had that cancer? One thing that we realized is that in this country especially, as women or as parents of women, there is such a big taboo around sexually transmitted anything, right?
So we don't want to really accept and face that, our daughter would be a part of this, or they really bring this forward and talk about it very openly, and that there are vaccines available that they can get and prevent it altogether.
Yeah,
and there are not many forms of maybe cancer where there are vaccines available which are preventable.
Yes.
So, and that's me saying as not as a doctor also. So why aren't we talking about it enough?
Yeah, so the focus should have been that, can we speak about or can we get some kind of an awareness for these parents of girls, in that age group and even later.
Yeah.
So the vaccine is also available for 15 to 45 years of women.
So you
and I need to go get it. So that also has a separate regime. But having said that, we just think that something, the focus of something that should have been on the preventability or about the availability of the vaccination. I don't know how far did this I am dead stunt took it.
Focus on really what can prevent cervical cancer and what are the constructive steps that we need to take so that we can reach out to more women and girls.
And parents of the girls. Since the vaccine is available since 9 years of age, right?
True.
So if you're the parent of a girl, I think that's something that you need to speak to your doctor about when you go for their vaccination schedule next.
Yeah. So I have a question, like, why aren't we discussing and why aren't we talking about the fact that safe sex is really important to prevent this also? Like, yes, there is a vaccine, but why not about that?
a fair point, right? Because sexually transmitted is like the one of the most common ways in which it is getting transmitted, this virus which causes cervical cancer, right? So instead of focusing the discussion on that, again we have tried to steer clear of it.
Yeah.
We have made it about death and everything else, but we don't want to talk about it because you see, even as a culture, we have always sold, especially here, we have always sold sex as something that you need to be away from, right?
Like a taboo.
Especially,
Yeah.
it's a taboo.
Yeah.
Even if, especially for children. If I am a I am a doctor. If I have to counsel parents of a young girl, a 9-year-old girl, agar
So
9-year-old girl ki,
would you suggest them, or would you think about like?
that's the thing. I will be reluctant to even suggest that idea because I'm not sure how they will take it.
They will take it. True,
right? So I
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
that's what a usual kind of mindset is, because they are so it's so unacceptable almost to talk about sex in general. So we are not talking about, because we want to not talk about that, we start focusing our attention on different ways of tackling this situation, which I think is the problem, right? Why are we not just
Directing it like.
yeah.
Neha, I was just thinking, so what do you think is like the right age for a parent, to talk about sex and all the other related things to a child?
That's a very good question, yaar. I think I remember I was in class 8 when we had someone come in our school to give sex education, and I was about 12 years old. I think that should be adolescence. I think should be a good time to kind of talk about it. But what I wonder is, because I'm 87 born, so when I was 12, it was 1999, right?
Things were different.
Things were different.
Very
Exposure
different.
was different.
Now
I didn't even know completely well what it is, right? But I think now probably that age must have changed. That age definitely should be a little earlier.
So I think like that's something maybe I did ask that, but we can leave it open for parents to do address the issue.
Yeah.
And not leave it hanging, or not letting it for the children to explore it by themselves through internet or other means. So because this is the safe space, being a parent, so don't hesitate in answering anything that comes from your child. I am a mother to an 8-year-old. I don't know when I am going to really talk about it, but I do know that I am all prepared, and whenever the questions do come. And let me tell you that questions do come, and they do come early now on. So
I think one of the good practices that perhaps some parents can acquire is keep a, like I think I see you do it a lot, like keep an open communication channel with your child. Keep checking in. What are they hearing? What are they learning? Because I think where the information comes from, but usually is the most
difference.
important.
Yeah, makes all the difference. Where the information is coming from, whom are they really talking to, and all of those things. And believe you me, in today's day and age, they are being bombarded with information. So as a parent and as anyone out there, we need to filter it out somewhere for the child and give them the relevant ones, because it's just a matter of few years. After that, they're going to be by themselves.
Yeah.
So as I tell my son also, I'm giving you the right tools. I can only give you the tools, because I won't be able to handle every situation for him out there.
Yeah.
And I won't be there with him all the time. So here are the tools. This is what you can use in such a situation.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that'll work.
I mean, I think the answer really is that keep a check on your children, in the sense that I'm not saying, be chaperoning them everywhere, but at least keep a check on, when they come back from school, what conversations they're having, what are the discussions they're having, what are they watching really, so that if your child today finds out something new in school, or some girl or some boy has come and told them something that they are confused about, they can come to you and talk. Don't make it a taboo in your own house. So age ki jahan tak baat hai, it could be, now I think 8, 9, 10 saal depends on really depends on what conversations they are having there. And then it's very important how you present it. Even what I'm telling you, I was in class 8, I was 12 years old, and even then the education that we got, now when I think of it, it was more about it was kind of aimed at scaring us. I don't know if you ever got it in your school.
I think we skipped that chapter. I don't even remember.
We didn't have a chapter. We had
The
someone
biology.
come in.
Oh, no, nothing
We had
like-
someone come
that
in,
didn't happen
and
for us.
all of us were taken to this one room and given this education. But it was all like from a place of fear that you should. There were some stories about some young girls getting pregnant, and so how difficult their lives became after that. So, which brings me to the fact that even when we were talking about sexually transmitted diseases, right, and we don't really talk enough about, or maybe we have, but the whole idea of practicing safe or having safe sexual practices has always somehow been they have been centered towards not getting someone pregnant, right?
True, yeah.
Not having an unwanted pregnancy. I don't know if enough focus has been given to for you to be using sexually safe practices to be able to make sure that you don't acquire any sexually transmitted diseases. So that is, I think, one of the main reasons why everything has found its space in such kind of compromised ways that we are not able to really address issues as a whole as we should. No?
Yeah.